He was damn Turkish. Come on, I think you're just making things up.
I'm not making things up.
Yes, anyone who is ethnically Greek and he converts to Islam, I don't think he'll just automatically say I'm Turkish.
Okay.
Or start speaking Turkish.
No,
I don't know where you're getting this
it's
from.
a process of assimilation. He will undergo a process of assimilation, just like as happened in the Ottoman period. And
I think you're
stereotyping
people, maybe.
This is what defined Greek and Turk in the population exchange period that your part of the world has also experienced between India and Pakistan. Yeah. So
what?
There
experience what? Sorry.
Population exchange between Muslims and
you can't even tell them apart.
Exactly. So the same goes for our part of the world. We had a population exchange between Greece and Turkey in 1923, and Greek was defined by Greek-speaking and Christian Orthodox. Turk was defined by mainly affiliation to Islam. The majority of these so-called Turks were ethnic Greeks. Northern Greeks.
But what's the problem? If they want to call themselves Greek or Turkish or whatever it is,
it's not a problem.
What's the problem?
What I'm saying is that ethnic identity is defined according to religious affiliation in that part of the world.
Probably.
In the Balkans. It is.
Probably, but what I'm saying is that
whether it should be like that or not.
What is the significance of that?
The significance of that is that you cannot look at people like Erdogan or modern Turkey as representatives of what you think of as Islam.
Why not?
And you cannot dissociate.
Why not?
You cannot dissociate
Islam from history and identity. If Erdogan says he's a Muslim, yes, why can't I say he's a Muslim as well?
Well, he is a Muslim.
So what's the problem then?
He's a Georgian Muslim.
Doesn't matter what kind of. Like I said, as far as Muslims are concerned, we don't give any importance to their ethnicity. We welcome the culture in Islam. We do not say you should get rid of the culture or the tradition. Yes, but we do not say that just because his background is Greek or Turkish or Georgian or whatever it is, we say that he's not a true Muslim or not a true representative of Islam. I don't think we use that argument.
What you don't understand is that as well as ethnicity being defined by religious affiliation, the process of conversion, including the process of converting regions and mosques, is determined by political objectives.
I never denied there was no political factors in this. There is political factors.
To Turkish Islam, his ancestors' affiliation to Turkish Islam is politically motivated.
Just like the mosque in Cordoba was converted to a church for political reasons. Yes?
Who were Ottoman Muslims.
Yeah, same thing.
For political reasons. They switched from one month to another between Orthodoxy and Islam. And had you asked them whether they're Sunni or Shi'i, they wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Well,
they didn't know
the same applies to many Christians. They don't know they're Catholics or Protestants, or they even believe whether God is a man or not. They have different understandings. So there's different depths of knowledge within different religious communities.
Okay, you can say that for the knowledge, but you can't deny the political use of Islam in...
I'm not denying there is a political factor in all of this conversion of churches and mosques and so. I never denied that.
It's not a political factor, it's a main political motivation.
Well, that might be. What? The important thing is that just like when Kemal Atatürk converted into a museum, you think that was a political reason?
Yeah,
of course it was.
Turkey's secular direction.
That's what I'm telling you. There is political reason for that, and I'm surprised that many Christians are willing for a place of worship to be a museum and a place of worship like the church to be a bar. Like here, there are many churches which have been empty for many years. So they sold them to bars and restaurants and to building flats, and even many of them are mosques. But you will never find mosque converted into flats and bars and restaurants unless it's by force. So not something that the community willingly said, yes, now this is an empty. In fact, there are many people who are struggling. There are many places, there are many masjids which are small for the community. They are looking for places to buy masjids and they can't because there's not enough places where they can buy masjids. The process is not easy anymore. Okay, so there's a difference between what the community voluntarily gives up its own churches to be built for this other purposes other than place of worship.
This episode, as I pointed out earlier, is going to lead to not just tension.
I'm not denying that. I never denied it.
In a region
Yes.
that most of the Arab and non-Arab Muslims who are glorifying in the event do not understand. This is going to increase, is going to make life for Muslims in Bulgaria and northern Greece more difficult. And we have there's more chance now that historic Ottoman mosques in my part of Greece, Macedonia, East Macedonia and Thrace, are going to be converted into, if not churches, into something that is going to be.
What you mean the existing
Ottoman mosques,
okay,
which are symbolic in northern.
If they are not functional,
if
they are not functional, that's a different thing. But if they are functional and they convert them, then they'll cause more problems.
They will convert them not necessarily into churches, but what happened in the 70s, for example, one key Ottoman mosque in Salonika, Hamza Bey Jami, was used as a porno cinema.
Say again?
It was used
a mosque.
as a porno cinema.
A mosque.
So that's the kind of thing that they're going to do in Greece. To historic, symbolic.
Well, they're doing it in
the oldest mosque.
They're doing it in occupied Palestine. There is actually a mosque which have been converted to some sort of a bar or restaurant. So they're doing it already. It's nothing new.
In the Balkans, is in northern Greece. It's called Ulu Jami, Great Mosque, in Didimotikon. It's older than any mosque in Constantinople. This has symbolic significance for Balkan Islam.
Is it active? Is it functional?
It was functioning until about the early to mid 90s. It doesn't function because it's dangerous.
Where is it again?
It's on the border with Turkey.
But not in Turkey.
No, it's on the Greek side of the border.
On the Greek side, yeah.
Have you heard of Edirne?
Edirne,
It's about half an hour's drive from Edirne.
Okay?
On the Greek, Edirne is like 5 miles from the Greek border. This mosque is in a town called Didimotikon or Demotika in Turkish, which is about.
But we know there's always been friction between Greece and Turkey, and this is something not new. It's been there for centuries. So we know this already. What I'm saying, yes, this actually might cause more problems. I'm not denying that.
It will.
And in fact, it probably already has.
In Bulgaria, forget Greece, Bulgaria is 15% Muslim. And Bulgarian Muslims have experienced peer episodes of severe repression and discrimination by the Bulgarian authorities. It's more likely to happen again now. And these Muslims, unlike the Muslims in northern Greece, Bulgaria's Muslims are, to some extent, more secular. In northern Greece, because in northern Greece they're defined as a religious minority, that for some reason makes them more religious. Bulgarian Muslims are identified as an ethnic minority, not a religious minority, and many of them are kind of more secularizing.
Okay.
They're not that religious.
So look, the important thing is that because Turkey is a secular country, Greece is a secular country.
Not a secular.
Sorry, I meant to say it's an independent country. Yes. What was the term I was looking for? It's sovereign country, that's right. So it's a sovereign country and Greece is a sovereign country. So these sovereign countries, when they make decisions, it has repercussions, especially places of worship. And this has happened, like I said, in occupied Palestine, in India, in Greece, yes, in Turkey. It has happened. I'm not denying that.
This act is not just an act of principle to emphasize Turkey's sovereignty. This act is provocative. This act could lead to a chain of events in which Turkey ultimately occupies parts of northern Greece and southern Bulgaria.
I think we are going a bit too. We're exaggerating. Exactly. It's over exaggerated now.
That is the worst case scenario. But Erdogan has regional, geostrategic ambitions.
Yes. I think he wanted to quash the secularists mainly in Turkey, the Kemalists. Yes. So I think that was his main. What do you say? Maybe main ambition.
Yeah, because
so you wanted to say, look, we are in control, and you guys are not.
Okay,
similarly, what Atatürk did in the 30s when he converted it into a museum, I think he probably had the same. He wanted to show the same. What do you say? Ambition that
Turkey
we are in control.
Modern, Western, secular state, and it was the final nail in the coffin.
But you will agree that Turkey. You will agree that Turkey actually uses its own tax money to maintain many of the churches and the synagogues which are quite ancient in that part of the world, in Turkey. So they do actually look after. I would say, compared to even the Europeans, the Turks have been very generous in maintaining these places of worship of other communities. Yes, so there is an old Syriac church just next to the Hagia Sophia, which has been functional and which has been looked after and maintained by the Turkish government. So I think you should give them credit for that as well.
I do
So those people who just say that they are bad, they're converting this church and so on, I think they should look at the reason why Erdogan had to do that. He might have genuine reason. It could be, like I said, there are many factors. Yeah, I'm not denying there are political factors playing here. I never denied that. I've been saying this throughout this talk. What I'm saying is that you should also look at the other side where he actually did. Sorry, not him, but the Turkish government have been doing for the past many years and decades and centuries of looking after these different places of worship and using their own taxpayer money to look after these places of worship.
Do you think Islam is a political tool to gain votes? He did it in Istanbul to try to gain votes from Ismail, the Atatürk party. He's trying to revive new Ottomanism with Turkey. It's just going to create division within the country. More existing than they are today. It was not a positive move whatsoever.
Everybody has different opinions. So there are people who say it is a positive move. Those are people who say it's a negative move. It's an opinion.
As a Muslim, you can't be happy with Islam being used as a political tool.
Say again?
You can't be happy with Islam being used as a political tool. It's being used to gain.
No, wait. When you say Islam, first and foremost, would you be happy for a masjid to be converted to a museum? No, because that was the political tool.
By the way.
No, but I agree. I'm Muslim. I agree with you.
I know, but you should first realize that what happened in the court in Turkey was, wait, you hear me out. Bro, hear me out. The reason they now gave the permission to pray there, which was revoked by the same court during the time of Atatürk, was because this masjid was a waqf, yes? So it was an endowment which was used only as a masjid, which was agreement to be used only as a masjid. This waqf was broken by Atatürk and his party. Yes? So what happened? There was injustice done to the Muslim for the past, I don't know how many hundreds of years.
I know, but that wasn't the reason why Erdogan did it.
Sorry, 86 years. My apologies.
I agree with you 100%.
Yes.
That's not the reason why Erdogan made it into a church. He made it for political reasons.
Erdogan didn't make it into church.
No, sorry, made it into a mosque. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. 3 years ago, he said, when asked about Hagia Sophia, there were lots of Muslims said, why don't you turn it back into a mosque? He said, why don't you build up the other mosques around Hagia Sophia, which are empty?
Yeah.
It was done as a political tool. It was not done for religion.
But the reason, wait, whether it was political or not, the important thing is what happened in the court. In the court,
If it's controlled by Erdogan.
bro, hear me out.
I agree with you.
No, hear me out. The reason which was given in the court was that this was a waqf and it was only to be used as a masjid. There was injustice done to the Muslims in 1934 when it was converted into a masjid.
The court would have made that decision 10 years ago, 15 years ago, right now. It's because Erdogan is receiving a lot of opposition.
But I never denied there was a political motive as well. I never denied that.
That's why it doesn't make sense why non-Turkish Muslims are glorifying this act. It doesn't make sense.
No, wait.
Especially you who recognizes
For me, it was a masjid. I'm not glorifying it as anything else. I'm saying it was a masjid. So when a country conquers, when in Islam this is the rule. When Islam, during the time when you didn't have the United Nations, yes, this was a rule everywhere in the Middle Ages. Yes, exactly. So for example, when Ferdinand and Isabella, when they took over Spain from the Muslims, from the Muslims, they converted the masjids into their churches. Yes, the same thing happened during the Ottoman period.
You don't want to model your law on the law of a tyrannical, brutal regime like Ferdinand and Isabella's.
No, but
justify.
There's a difference. Wait. I'm not justifying the brutality. I'm telling you about what the law was at that time.
Everywhere, of course. At the time, not today. That's not how things work today.
Yeah, but today, what they used was in the court. They used this injunction that what happened in 1934 was illegal.
Yeah,
so they said, okay, and by the way, it was the same court. It was the same court which legalized
Yeah, I mean,
to turn it into a museum.
In name, it was the same court in name.
Yes.
By the way,
By the way, this court case for years. They could have done it decades back. Why not?
They could have.
By the way,
I don't know what the reason was. Maybe there was, maybe it was wise to do it now, not back then.
by the way,
to pander to the Muslim Ottoman community. A lot of the Muslim vote in Turkey is going to the ultra-nationalists, the MHP. Erdogan is trying to use this as an opportunity to gain the votes back.
Exactly.
It was not done for
and just like the young man said about the widespread Turkish opposition to the move amongst secularists, there's also an opposition to this move amongst Turkish Muslims who are very aware of their Byzantine Greek heritage. There are many so-called Turks who still speak Greek today and are Muslim and are very conservative Muslim, and there are sections within this community who oppose this kind of move.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised
because even though
there are people within Turkey who are opposed to this move, and there are people who support it. I'm not denying that.
These are practicing Muslims who are proud to be Turkish nationals, are loyal to Turkey, but are very aware, and if anything, are now reviving their traditional Greek language and culture. Pontic Greeks are the main group who live in the Black Sea region. The Pontic Alps.
From what I've noticed is that Turkey is one of the most, a country which has got synagogues, mosques, churches, and I think there's a lot of religious freedom compared to other Muslim countries.
Absolutely.
Do you agree with that? So we cannot say that okay, just because they have done this, now we are going to just ridicule and basically oppose them in every single thing.
But we're not.
No, but people are saying that this
Even I recognise that Erdogan has done a lot of good in Turkey.
Not only Erdogan, I think the past governments as well.
And I'm open about my background, and I'm welcomed, including.
I'm not from that region, so maybe you have more information about it.
Turkish police, Turkish soldiers, I'm treated very well, even though. I'm open about my origin, and my origin is part Ottoman as well. And I'm not a pure Greek, I'm a part Georgian and Ossetian origin. And even on my Greek side in Turkey, it's from the far east of Turkey, eastern Anatolia.
When are you taking the Shahada? Alright, anyway, nice talking to you. But yeah, I think this is one of those things which people will never come to an agreement, and there's definitely a political reason behind this. I'm not denying that, because people do a lot of things for votes, all the governments do it, yes? There are governments who want to build a wall between two communities in America and Mexicans, yes? For political reasons, and this is... So what I'm saying is that it can be political reason, it can be religious reason, it can be reason just to gain more votes or something like that. I mean, there are all sorts of things. We, in Speaker's Corner, cannot resolve that. We can only give our opinions, and like I said, people have different opinions. This is the reason Speaker's Corner, which gives you the freedom of speech to air these opinions and come to a conclusion individually. But I think if other countries start basically interrupting in the sovereign lands, then there'll be a lot more chaos around the world. But when there is persecution of people, then they should definitely speak up. Yes, persecution. I mean, of people like the Uyghurs, and the people, the Rohingyas,
and in Rakhine.
Yes.
These are the headline. These are the communities that are in the headlines. These are the communities who have experienced the more extreme forms of persecution. What we don't hear about are the people, including the Muslims, who are experiencing low levels of discrimination, but significant levels of discrimination enough to frustrate their lives, their futures, their careers, and their sense of safety. And that goes for the Muslims in northern Greece. This is a bad move for the Muslims in northern Greece. Yeah?
And it's not just the Muslims. We basically oppose all sort of persecution, whether it's the Muslims or the non-Muslims. The important thing is this: when justice is established, then only you will have peace. But when it is not, when there is injustice done, then you have problems which you're talking about.
The thing is, you are not going to hear about anything that happens to the Muslims in northern Greece because it's not going to be.
It's not in the media.
It's not going to be extreme enough.
I totally agree.
It's not going to be as extreme as what the Uyghurs are experiencing. You're not going to hear about it. They're going to be living in misery.
But the important thing is that even if it's extreme, and even if you hear it in the mainstream media, what has been done about it? Like for the Uyghurs, or for the Rohingyas, or for the Kashmiris, or the Palestinians, or whoever it is.
It's done in Greece. There are mechanisms in which to make sure this, through which you can ensure that it stops. So the Muslims of northern Greece have taken the Greek government to court several times in the 80s and 90s through the International Court of Human Rights.
Right. And has there been any progress?
Yeah, they have, absolutely. But this is going to turn back the clock. This issue with Hagia Sophia is going to turn back the clock. And these Muslims.
So if the Greek government is going to blame those northern Cyprus Muslims for what the Turkish government did, do you think that's just?
No, it's not just.
Exactly. So why would one person or one community or one country's fall be punishable?
It's not necessarily
punishment being borne by somebody else.
It's not necessarily going to be a centrally directed
Okay.
policy of discrimination against the Muslims.
So if the Greeks do it, then they are basically doing exactly what they're blaming the Turks for doing it. In other words, injustice. See what I mean?
However, the big difference between Constantinople and northern Greece is Istanbul doesn't have 500,000 Christian Orthodox.
I don't know how many are there.
Whereas northern Greece, Greek Macedonia and Thrace have a living Muslim community of up to 500,000.
In
in East Macedonia and Thrace, a part of the northeast of Greece.
How come there are so few mosques over there in Greece?
Well, they're not in that area. There are. In that area, there are lots of mosques.
No, the capital. I think I heard recently.
There are no indigenous Muslims.
Recently, they had like a mosque built there or something. I'm not sure.
There are no indigenous Muslims there.
No, but there were a lot of Muslims because the mosque is getting filled. So there must be.
These are not.
No, but you cannot say indigenous. The whole idea of a mosque is for anyone to pray.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be indigenous.
These are newcomers.
Yeah, it's like me saying there are no indigenous English people here, so don't build any mosque in England.
That explains why there's no mosque.
Doesn't
There
make
haven't
sense.
been Muslims. There haven't.
No,
been
no, there
Muslims.
are a lot of Muslims
there haven't been.
in Athens.
In
There are a lot of
past
Muslims
20,
there.
30 years, yes. Before then, there weren't.
Okay. Anyway,
Until the Ottoman period.
I think we probably have to look into that. But anyway, injustice anywhere or oppression anywhere is wrong. That's the principle I stand by. But anyway, jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.